All right, so you think it's going to work this time?
Here's hoping. Should we do? There's no one in the triple Born of the Gods. Should we just do a regular block draft?
I don't care.
I mean,
It's that dead already. That's impressive. Don't these things usually stay full until they go away?
yeah, except
Nobody cares.
yeah,
Like
Eh,
immediately, like within a week,
when it's
nobody
when
cares.
it's not a real format, people do triple Born of the Gods until they open all the cards they want.
Sure.
Um, but they don't. Often they don't play well because it's a small set and you end up with like 6 copies of one card and it's
Seemed to
not.
work okay for us.
Yeah, if the client hadn't crashed, we
That
were.
really crappy deck might have won.
Yeah, we were. I think we were close to advancing to round two.
Yeah.
Like we were turning it around, and it's disappointing that we'll never know whether we won or would have won. We know that we didn't win.
I don't know. You got free cards for it,
Yes,
so that's like
that's a
winning.
victory.
Yeah.
We also spent a long time sitting here wondering what the hell was up, which was clearly a defeat.
Yeah, but that's just like any other night.
Yes, true. And this was the card that we were playing off of.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's better in
Or worse.
block. Yeah, might be worse. What I would say is there is.
Oh, they should have a Pizzly transformation, which turns you into a Pizzly bear. So you're like a 3/3 with no abilities. Because you're a little bit bigger than a grizzly bear.
Just a little. I would say, okay, this can make your creature unblockable. This would go into a heroic deck, which is almost always what you want to be doing. And this is kind of an interesting disenchant in that you shuffle it back, so they might get it later. I think out of this pack, we take the hero.
All right.
It seems to have the most upside, and this is a really lousy pack. That's probably second.
Okay. No, I'm fine with that. I don't know that it ever worked for us, but I don't know that it ever didn't work for us. So
Right. So here is probably where we have to decide what we want to pair it with.
uh, or we cut green hard and
Right. This would be a decent pick. This is a pretty good heroic trigger,
sure,
since it's a one-way fight.
I'm fine with
A
that.
flyer or
You know what,
that.
John? You never have to sell me on red green.
That's true. And this is more likely to table.
Sure. All right.
This will be gone pretty quick. So follow the hammer. We'll go with that. Here is an interesting card that I've heard some good things about. Whoops. I probably almost just picked it. What I've heard is that you can sometimes just win out of nowhere.
Sure.
Like your opponent attacks in,
And suddenly you do 10 points of damage.
right, because you had a,
You had 2/1/1s.
yeah, exactly. And then
Yeah, yeah, no, I can see that.
downside, it's sorcery speed, so you're not surprising anyone with
But
it.
it's a pretty good, like
Yeah,
cost wise, that's pretty good.
right,
I mean, it's not like giant growth good or anything.
right. But
On the other hand, I could also see taking the flying haste dude.
true.
But no, go ahead, take that. We are far more likely to get another impetuous sun chaser.
I guess the other good thing about this that I hadn't really thought about, that would be 2 heroic triggers.
Yeah.
So here, the green and the red is dry. We could either hedge our bets by going into like green white or green white or green blue or green white.
I am seeing a lot of things that will potentially pull people into white here.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe take reap what is sown.
It's probably the highest power level. It could go on a splash if we really wanted to.
Well, and it would trigger 3 things with heroic. That's pretty boss.
Right. Now, I've heard really good things about this creature. I have not actually played it much, but I've heard that almost always, especially if you're on the play, you're able to attack in with it. Most of their 3-drops can't block, and then you're able to attack in with it the next turn because it's suddenly a 4/3. But this is for sure on color, and as a lure or just a...
I don't know, like Kragma Butcher. Up to you, John. Up to you.
I see the benefit of both. I'm not sure. We'll try Kragma Butcher. It combos well with the Fall of the Hammer. Here, probably Tromper. Tromper can get out of control pretty quick.
Yeah,
The problem with this thing is it has to attack each turn.
sure. But it's flying, so there's a good chance that on the second turn you do a point, and on the third turn you put an ordeal on it.
Right. Yeah, if you're comboing it with an ordeal or doing something like that, it can get better in a hurry. Gorgon's Head definitely has an argument for it. I like this guy. Like,
Yeah.
a lot of times they take 5 damage and you're like, really? Was that the decision you wanted to make? I don't think we're going to be heavy enough green for that to be...
Really, really good.
Yeah, still probably good.
Charging Badger. Badger!
No? That I could not...
Take the giant then.
Okay.
Take something. Take the giant.
Here, maybe the Revoke Existence just on
Sure.
speculation. This is probably the most annoying card because it slows us down and can regenerate and
Sure.
do whatever, but Revoke Existence would be the most likely to be played by us. Just take the only green card. If they have bestow creatures and auras, it's not a bad thing to have. Will we ever play that? Or would we be better off taking...
Guess we could take the Calling Mark.
Creature blocks this turn if able.
If they had a really annoying plink creature or some such thing,
Then it might be worth
it might be worth sideboarding in.
We probably aren't doing the favor, but sure, we'll take another one. Okay, so hide a couple of these. Probably not playing that. Probably not even playing Revoke Existence. Since we're in green, the chance that we have like Fade into an Antiquity that does the same thing costs slightly more, but it's on color.
Ooh, Phalanx Leader.
You know, the Red Ordeal. Ember Swallower is probably the way to go. I mean, it's a 4/5 on its own, so its toughness is more than its mana cost.
No, I'm fine with that.
I would like to get that Ordeal, but... And here, and this thing always is nasty. I probably like that more than this person. Just because it can be cheaper.
Sure.
And we will have a lot of creatures, so probably by the time we are playing it, it is cheaper. At this point, I'm thinking Calling Marks maybe sideboard. Now, Temple of Triumph would give us a white splash without
doing anything,
hurting our mana. Sedge Scorpion would give us...
No, go with the Temple.
Plus the Scry is...
Never complain about it.
Yeah. Probably the Dryad.
Leaf Crown one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would agree.
I mean, Dauntless Onslaught has its place too, and I guess we do have a Minotaur Warrior, so a Minotaur Shaman could be okay, but Reach and Bestow is...
Let's see. Ordeal?
Yep, it's Ordeal or Coordinated Assault. And I think Ordeal.
Okay. Man, I wish we had that flying guy.
Yeah, if we had that flying guy, or if we were on that plan, we would have probably taken the other Ordeal too. Mender probably is... It's the best card here by a significant margin.
Okay.
I don't want to play against it, I guess. How many scry opportunities do we have?
1.
Our land?
Yeah, we have the land.
And
As far as I know, that's it.
yeah, I think that is it. So this guy isn't real good for us.
2, 3 for 3
Yeah, he's not.
is not bad in general.
He's not bad.
He's not great, but
I mean, this guy. Well, we could put Dryad on him. We could put Ordeal on him. We could Reap What Is Sown onto him. So he probably has more upside than this.
go with the double strike guy with the +4/+4 thing.
Right. That could be real nasty. Probably Portent of Betrayal. I don't see us being that aggressive of a deck, but you never know. Well, this guy's okay.
Skull Cleaver.
Um,
Hedonist.
Yeah. If we're low on 2 drops.
Well, you can always use him for ramp.
Right.
Not for very long, but
Right.
sometimes you just need a little.
If we had something really good that we wanted to get to. I don't want them to have that, but Spark Jolt at times.
I don't know, John. That gives us another scry. Then we're looking stupid for not taking that other card.
Well, we're probably not playing it. It's just a sideboard option. Now, would we be better off with this one who has trample? So if we give him +4/+4, or this one for ramp that, or one of each?
Go with your heart, John. You chose poorly.
I
You
did.
believed in the heart of the cards, and they kicked you in the nuts.
In a perfect world, we're not playing with any of them, so. But that might be asking a little bit much of these next 2 packs to get us.
Like 1 pack.
Yes, this next pack.
This next pack. We chose poorly, John.
Okay. So the rare is...
How much is it worth?
It's not worth much.
Oh, okay. Well,
But it's like one of the only near board wiping spells in the format. And we wouldn't have a good answer to it. Time to Feed is probably what we want. We have almost no removal.
sure.
And we'll just hope that they don't get that. And if they do, we will...
Be boned.
yeah.
Ordeal of Nylea.
I think Lightning Strike.
Oh.
Because we don't have any removal, or limited. I guess we have Follow the Hammer, Time to Feed, but since we're still low on it, Big Daddy Asp.
Yup. That came out of your mouth.
Unfortunately. What are we at? 8? We're at 17. 17 playables. Are we still only on 1 heroic creature?
We might have 2 now. But we might have only 1.
I think our only one is...
That guy.
Yeah.
That guy.
We're probably better off with the Dryad than the Courser, just because we can play it on something, and then when it dies, still
Sure.
have something.
Makes sense to me.
And we have a few 3-drops. Probably Skull Cleaver. Now I really wish we'd taken that Minotaur.
Shaman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh well. Who knew?
Yep. Still, we're getting closer to
All of your Minotaurs explode.
not having to
Damn
play
it.
the bad cards.
And do damage to your opponent. Yes.
Reap what is sown. How could we get the most out of that? Yes, two-headed Cerebus. Maybe kind of a surprise on one of these guys when they think they're worthless. It's fairly aggressive. If we could pick up another one drop or some sort of target for the ordeal.
See, if we had that flying guy,
Mm-hmm.
then he's effectively a 1-drop in terms of when he attacks.
Yes, but not as far as when he would get the trigger. Here's another heroic. That works well with our deck.
Fade?
Yeah, I think so. We could go Chronicler because we will have a tiny white splash, but I think we want to have at least one removal there. I'm okay with Dragon Mantle. Draws us a card. Who knows? I mean, if we draw this card late and then have some huge heroic trigger, another heroic. Excellent. And you don't want
You know
a
what?
second one.
No.
What? Take a second one?
Take a second one. You know why? It's a heroic trigger.
Because it scries?
No, it's a heroic trigger.
It can be.
You take control of one of your own creatures, and
Yep. Yeah, it absolutely can be a heroic trigger if you want it.
I mean, it's not ideal, I don't think, but I mean, there's sometimes where it's totally exactly what you want to do.
Mm-hmm. So now it's going to be a question of how to whittle down. We've gotten to a good place. Going into that pack, I wasn't sure whether we were going to
Have a deck.
well, whether we were going to be running a whole bunch of 2-drop satyrs that are
Kind of crappy.
viewed as unplayable. Yeah.
They aren't unplayable. There is no such thing as a card that is unplayable. If you can put it in the deck, it is technically playable.
Right. So Chaos Orb.
Yeah.
And anything that mentions Annie or
Okay, well, those things are actually
Is
unplayable,
unplayable.
but because but you aren't allowed to play them.
right.
Hence, they are unplayable. They may be crappy cards, but like, there's nothing in this set which is unplayable.
Right.
That's pretentious bullshit.
So I guess the question would become whether or not the power level of this card is high enough to outweigh the
I think we have
distinct
enough
possibility that we don't.
heroic guys at this point that it might be worth it.
Yeah,
I mean, especially
since we picked up those late ones.
if all we do is we put in the Temple of Trump.
Right. And the Butcher, and the Strike, and the Fall, and the Ordeal. So then, I guess, what do we have as our options? We have Dragon Mantle, which triggers and draws us a card.
Yeah.
So I kind of think those are probably good ideas. Also work really well on that guy.
Oh, yeah.
We have the Skull Cleavers, and we have the Betrayals. I already put in Fade into Antiquity, which could be up here as an option instead. So we need 5 more cards, probably. I think we're a 17 land deck, not an 18 land.
Okay.
So of these 7 cards, we need 5. We're at 12 creatures, so I think we need the 2
Sure.
Minotaurs. Then it becomes, are we aggressive enough to want to go with the Portent of Betrayals, or are we more likely to win off of heroic triggers and a little bit of card draw?
Well,
I kind of think this side, because like Portent's going to be best if you have a dominating board state early and they don't have a lot of blockers. And there's a good chance, if we don't have this in our opening hand, that we're either forced to play one of these for the non-bestow cost,
Sure.
or we're waiting until turn 3 to play our first creature.
Sure, sure. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So
I have no problem with that. That's
because
fine.
of that, they're likely to have a couple crappy little guys that they can chump with. And what do you suggest?
Don't forget the Temple of Trump.
Right. You suggest that, and we put Trump Tower.
Yeah, it's the Temple of Trump. All right. So how you feel about the deck, John? Do you feel better about it than the last one? That was actually doing okay? Right up to the point where the game shut down?
I do feel better
We're
about
going to
it
lose. All right, good to know.
in that we have these 3 cards. If we play against like red-white, which is probably the most aggressive deck in the format, we have those 3 cards that we could take and put in place of even like skull cleavers.
Sure.
Because if we're not attacking with them, then they are just cards that attack or cost more to get
The same effect.
the same effect. And so we could increase our ability to play something on turn 2. That being said, if instead we're playing against a more controlling or mid-range deck, these guys come out and instantly do nothing. These guys come out and probably get an attack in because they trade up better.
Right.
So I think this is where we want to start, but I feel good that we do actually have a couple options if we need to change.
Seems reasonable to me.
All right.
Well, then we will be back when the round starts.
And hopefully playing Iron Maiden 2.
Electric Boogaloo.